If you don't know the brands that P&G own, well, you probably use a lot of them every single day. They own brands like Pampers, Ariel, Gillette, and so many more. And in this episode, the fantastic Rob Manhoudt is going to be telling us how they are changing how their products are searched and found. He is the VP of Digital Commerce across all of their brands, and he's going to be sharing in this episode exactly what they're doing to get ready for an AI-focused world. So, without further ado, let's go and meet Rob at Shop Talk Europe.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Rob, welcome to Marketing in the Madness. Here we are at Shop Talk. So, of course, we're going to be talking about retail marketing, maybe retail media, because I know you've just been on stage talking about that. But for our lovely listeners, can you tell me about yourself, your role, and what you do at P&G?
Yes. So I'm Rob Manhoudt. I work for P&G, which stands for Procter Gamble. And I'm leading everything that we're selling online in Europe. So any category and any country. That's why that is the responsibility I have. And that's the scope that I am overlooking today.
Yeah, it's a big role. For those that can't, off the top of their head, think of some of the Procter & Gamble brands that you might look after, could you get just to bring it to life?
Yes.
Yeah, give me some of your favorite P&G brands.
I think Gillette is always one of my favorites. I love Gillette.
As soon as you say that, I'm like, Gillette's the best, the song has just come.
Yes.
So sorry about the singing, guys.
No worries. I will not repeat you.
Yeah.
No, Gillette is, for example, a big brand, but we got Pampers for the babies, our diapers. We have got Oral-B toothbrushes. We got laundry detergents, Ariel. We got cleaning, right? Fairy, Liquid, for example. We got a lot of beauty brands like Head & Shoulders or Pantene or Old Spice, for example, is one of our personal care brands. I can continue. So we have a broad scope of brands. We have about 10 categories that we're overlooking globally. And in Europe, we have 9 of those categories with many brands in many markets. Sometimes a local jewel, so a local brand, but often it's a global brand that we have in Europe as well.
And your role, talk to me about what your responsibility, your like day-to-day responsibilities.
So I think it started as leading e-commerce for Europe, meaning leading everything that we're selling online. And it really transformed in becoming a digital commerce business. So what is the transformation from e-commerce to digital commerce? That's where we're really looking at every moment of truth. So we used to do, okay, how much can we sell online? We call this the first moment of truth, that you can actually see a product, buy a product. It can be in a store, it can be online. Now the zero moment of truth, you took a step back. When the first time that you hear about a product, you consider a product, that's the zero step. And then the second moment of truth, that is actually when we are consuming products. So e-commerce was about the first moment of truth, selling stuff, products, beautiful products online. And now digital commerce really has overlooked the total spectrum of awareness, consideration, conversion, and even driving loyalty. So the full spectrum of consumer engagements. It's a new really definition of digital commerce for us.
I feel like things have changed in your world quite a lot over the past few years, because traditionally, I guess it was you guys are selling to larger retail houses or grocery stores or whatever it might be, a mixture across the different brands.
Absolutely.
But are you doing a lot more? I mean, it sounds like, yes, a lot more D2C now. There's been quite a big shift over to you doing more of your own e-commerce online.
Yes, it depends on the category. So certain categories like appliances from Braun that we have, for example, people want to understand more. They want to understand the product features. They want to engage. They want to know about the company behind it, the brand behind it, and consumer problems to be solved or the needs to be addressed. So on appliances, we do it a lot, but also on toothbrushes. Oral-B toothbrushes, we have our own platform. We can sell as well on oralb.com or oralb.de or IT or FR. But the majority of our business is still really on the retail or retail platforms. So that could be online, could be offline. But we have our own direct-to-consumer businesses. But more importantly, we look where we can help consumers. So consumers are these days on finding our products on social. They're finding our products on agents, right? Like LLMs. They're finding the product still in store or at the retail website. But I think this has really changed massively. I think the biggest change versus just a year ago, that normally you would be searching products at the retailer website, keywords, search. I think that's already the old world. People are now discovering products in social or trying to find solutions in the LLM. And that's where the consumer journey starts. First is a very functional, I'm looking for a toothbrush. Less and less that's the case, which really disrupts the way we look at the consumer journey, which also disrupts the way we look at retail media.
Yes.
So that
Well,
is
I
the
was
link.
going to say, yeah.
Yes.
So what does that, so yeah, we're all searching differently. I think LLMs have been the biggest shift, right? How we find products. There's quite a fragmented journey now. Like, you might know the product that you want, and then you might check about it within the LLM, or you might be going with a very open question
Yeah.
to ask, I have this problem. What are the right products? Which are the best brands? Which has got the best reviews? Everyone's asking a lot of different things. My first question before we move on to the retail media is, how are you changing things to make sure that your products are the ones coming out?
Yes.
Or maybe that is a retail media question.
No, that's not retail media. So I think we look at LLMs that we want to be visible. We want to be favorable. But also we want to be accurate. Because the information that you find in LLMs needs to be right and accurate to the products and propositions that we have. So to make it accurate, you need to ensure that those LLMs can actually source all the right information of your products. You have these protocols for this, right? UCB, for example, which is very important. And I think enabling shoppers, consumers, to find the right solution for the problems or the questions that they actually address in an LLM. So our job is to ensure that all the information is flowing, that all the LLMs can source that information to be accurate. Now, you're favorable at the moment that you have a better product proposition for that consumer question. Visible, right? The more people talk about you, the more you will be visible as well. But I believe this is not about mass media anymore. It's not about pushing your brands, right, to be visible anymore. It's about addressing consumer questions. And if we do this right, with the right solution, we will be favorable and we will be visible for that consumer question and that consumer conversation. First, mass media or retail domination of visibility. I don't think that's very consumer focused.
No.
I think LLMs, but also social, are a way that we put consumer again in the center, which I think is great. It makes us maybe more vulnerable, but that's the challenge. That you need to have the right product proposition for the problems or solutions that people are searching for.
Yeah, they're finding you through a plethora of different information, from ratings, reviews, sites like Reddit. Like
Yes.
the LLMs are surfacing not just your product pages on your website. They're going to a multiple,
Absolutely.
so many places to actually get the information to serve it back to us.
Yeah. No, you see the sources often, right? Not in all the LLMs, but often you see the source LLMs.
Well, yeah.
Yes. And they're very diverse. So we have the tools, right, to measure it, where their sourcing is from, and those are all, right, AI tools that we are using and many people are offering as well. I think most importantly is that we need to ensure all our information can be found in a protocol or via PDP or maybe via our brand websites. So that's a job to be done. Whereas having a closed system, you need to be more open that all those information is being sourced into LLMs where consumers are engaging, having the conversation, and we can help them.
Yeah.
So it's not a barrier. It's just a very conscious job to be done that you need to do. And it's a very different way than we used to do it last year.
Yeah.
Right? This is really transforming quickly.
I was going to say, it's another job now, isn't it? Because it's changed so quickly over the last year.
Absolutely.
So I can't not ask you about retail media, because you have literally just come off stage talking about it. Tell me there's a lot of attention and there's been a lot of talk about retail media at the show this year. Tell me what it means for you guys. How are you utilizing it? Who are you working with? Give me the high level view of retail media, and then we're going to deep dive a bit.
Yeah, so what I said on stage as well is retail media remains important, but it's a part of a broader holistic business plan. And it can play a very important part. So we want to address specific audiences that actually can be defined on shopper behavior. If you have those groups and audiences that we can address with, again, a specific product solution, in other words, I think retail media can play a very good, big and important role. But it's part of a total business plan. It's not a separate plan. It's not a separate budget. It's part of a total business plan, which includes national media, social media. It could be retail media indeed. It is retail execution, promotions. So it is a broad spectrum of elements that make a total business plan. What the right mix is depends on the business objective, depends on your product proposition. So that's a cluster of tools, a marketing mix model, as always, doesn't change, that you need to get right. But not for every message, the mix modeling, right, is the same. So we need to be a bit more open about measuring this as a cluster, as a holistic plan, versus trying to find the return on advertisement spending or retail media. They always have difficulty making this, so you get an attribution that is always wrong, because it depends on the creative solution. It depends on the reach that you want to have. So these attributions, I think, are the best. And we need to stop asking for those as well. We need to look at the total mix of a plan and the outcome and the total return on investment of that total business plan, which is less comfortable than measuring everything in buckets. But that is the reality how consumers are shopping, engaging, and we need to reflect that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? We're so used to, we need to know what this delivered. But like you say, it might be not the placement. It could be the design was wrong, or something else. The customer journeys are so fragmented now. Like we're looking on, we're looking at social media, we're looking on Instagram, we're then checking on an LLM, and then we're, being affected by some retail media advertising. Like everything, there's no, it's not one thing now I'm buying.
No.
Well, sometimes it's one thing now I'm buying, but more
But
often
not
than not.
often anymore.
Yeah,
Not
more
often
than not,
anymore.
it's not like that.
And therefore, if you really go back to be consumer focused, what is the consumer target that I want to address? What is the message that I want to really deliver to them? And what is the solution I could provide to them? I think that's where the core is. Back to the consumer. We often say, right, we are customer obsessed, right, retailer. Well, I'm not sure we are customer obsessed if we put all kinds of paid retail media in front of their face, that we're actually looking for something else. Are we really helping the shopper and the consumer to find the right product proposition for what they are after? I think it makes it very honest, the fair playing field. Who is best at serving the consumer will actually be growing their business, which is a great place to be. And it's a very honest, fair play game, which we love to do. And the more consumer focused you are, the better you will do, I believe.
Why do you think retail media is getting so much attention right now?
Well, I believe it has been used as a source of revenue.
Yeah.
Versus really a tool as part of a total business plan. Because they used to have separate teams, both on the brand side and on the retail side, talking retail media plans without looking at all the other elements that need to be in that holistic view as well. And that revenue stream might decrease or might increase. But again, we need to look at the total plan and the total value we can create together versus looking everything in a silo. So break the silos and really make an integrated business plan, focus on your consumer. And now retail media has a role to play. But look at it holistically and look at it the total return investment of the business plan versus every element on itself.
Yeah. Now, this doesn't have to be about retail media.
No.
Obviously, you look after some very cool brands.
Yes.
Can you tell me one of your either most effective or favorite campaigns for one of the brands that has delivered, like really, that you've been, involved with, that's really, really delivered? And I'd love to know why.
There are so many brands, and I know I need
put
to.
you on the spot there.
Yes, and now I need to pick one. I believe that where we have a superior product, for example, Fairy dishwash liquid.
I love Fairy.
In any market, sometimes we call it
products.
Fairy, sometimes we call it Yes, sometimes we call it Drift. Very Dutch pronunciation. It really gets the job done. And people love the performance of these brands, and therefore it becomes really a love brand. Anywhere where you ask a consumer, out of these brands, what's your favorite brand? Oh, Fairy. So I think it's all about creating a community, about being attached to a brand, and a brand being authentic as well. So the more authentic you are, I think the more attached consumers will be and the more loyal they'll be getting to your brand and your proposition. And you always need to deliver on the job to be done. It needs to clean, or it needs to degrease, or I always love Fairy. And maybe because I'm also Dutch, grew up with Treft as the Fairy of Holland. That's, for example, a campaign. We have new propositions that we're doing. We're cleaning the soap, for example, with sprays these days. But that's one of the brand proposition that remains maybe the strongest one. If I need to pick one,
Yeah.
I can pick many others as well.
Yeah, you have so many to choose from. This is the thing. But you're right. The best marketing is having a good product. If you can nail that piece, everything from there flows so much more easily. Your campaigns come to life. You've got one strong, Fairy's message across the board is all about its effectiveness, isn't it? It's the best. So you're happy to spend more money on it.
It is, but also I think it's changing because the voice of the brand becomes the voice of others. So if consumers, people are advocates of your brand and they want to talk about your brand, I think that's the best marketing that you can get.
Yeah.
And that change versus the mass media or the broad media that we used to do, because people want to talk about your brand because it actually is a perfect solution for them and a perfect product for the job that's to be done. I think that's where brand equity will be more and more built. And again, that's where it's more authentic, it's more real. So that is the transformation that brand building is going through, which I think is very nice because it goes back to the consumer, goes back to being authentic and genuine when we talk about products and brands for the consumers across Europe.
Yeah, and creating community. Like you say, they're doing the job. They're doing the job for you.
Yes, so let them talk about your brand because they are the biggest supporters often if you do it right. And that's all about the feeling and the genuine love that people have for our brands.
Yeah, and also now going back to what we were talking about, that's what the LLMs and the agents are looking for. They're looking for other sources of information about your brands that aren't just you saying it, there's your customers saying it, and that's when you get matched.
Yeah, no, and that's perfect. So focus on those consumers. The consumers will do the talking for you. The LLMs will display this to all other consumers, and then you'll have a flywheel that really works for you. And it could be an LLM, right? And beauty, it's often social.
Yeah.
More than 60-70% on new products bought on beauty starts on social. So it depends on the product proposition. If it's an LLM where you want to understand better, or where you really want to get something that you heard someone talk about on social as well, can be another source of new penetration, new users to our brands and our products. And again, that has more gradually evolved quickly, not as quickly as the LLMs. But again, that's another really big source of traffic, new consumers to our brands as well, that we are reflecting on, and we're doing this as good as possible. We can learn a lot, but we're learning every day.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it.
We all are. Well, one of the benefits of being here is we also get to learn from everyone else at Shop Talk. So my last question.
Go ahead.
Because we're at Shop Talk, is there anything that's inspired you that you've seen this week? Talks, people that you've met, technology that you've seen? Give me the favorite thing you've seen at Shop Talk.
So I think the most favorite thing for me is that everybody is really open to great partnerships. So everybody, it's new, it's changing quickly. So the sentiment I love the most, everybody's connected to each other to see if we can help each other to build the next phase, of retail, brand building. And I think that is, in the end, everybody realizes this becomes a blended activation towards consumers. There's no pillar of retail and brand building, and maybe even a different pillar of retail media. It becomes one plan. And everybody realized that we need to transform ourselves in the way we operate. And we need to find partnerships externally, but also internally, often in companies. It's about becoming one team with one dream to build the next generation of brand builders as well.
I love that. And it's still people-powered.
Absolutely.
I love
Yeah,
that.
people-powered, enabled by agents.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much,
Rob.
Katie. It was nice to
Amazing to meet you. Thank you.